History is bound to repeat itself, a saying repeated through the years time and time again. Well, if the history we've all been taught is anywhere near authentic, maybe we're currently living through some form of a repeated timeline right now. While many people are questioning the system at hand and their individual roles in it, with most of us more or less being peasants to the government, having them promise us a life full of live, laugh, love, when in reality the majority of us are barely surviving right now. Well, if you personally feel like you relate to anything discussed in this video, or you just simply like content like this, feel free to like, comment your thoughts, opinions below, and subscribe to see my daily uploads around here discussing topics just like this. And I want to start off by giving a huge shout out to everybody who supports my content, my channel memberships, my Patreon supporters, and everybody who just rocks with the content over here. You can check the details to all that stuff down below in the description. And I specifically want to give an individual shout out to the few of you who have been sending donations through some of those links down in the description. Literally about $5 to $10 feeds me for a week, and I'm more than grateful because this is how I'm surviving right now. Maybe I relate to these videos a little bit too much. Either way, let's begin.
Do you know, if you actually think about it, slaves used to work all day, every day, with no pay, but they still got food, water and shelter. Today we work all day, nearly every day, and we get paid. But the money we make, we spend on food, water and shelter. We are still slaves.
Wow, well, when you put it like that, it really sounds like not much has really changed. Now, if we're going to point out the outright crazy difference between the slavery we were taught that used to happen versus the wage slavery we're facing today, definitely a lot less cruel, a lot more freedom involved in our slavery, but at the same time, still somewhat slavery nonetheless, being that you really are no way out of the whole taxation, the whole providing for the government. If you want to completely opt out of society, you're still going to be paying some sort of tax, or at least at your funeral, there will be a charge.
Are slaves to the system. The only thing that has changed is the illusion of freedom. And this is my theory as to why we have the cost of living crisis, and it's been so bad over the last couple of years. And it's because this spiritual awakening, this mass awakening, has been predicted for decades, for years, thousands of years it's been predicted. And
Now, I started off this video in the intro discussing how history repeats itself, or at least that is how people acknowledge it in the greater distance of the timeline. Now, I liked the older I get, the more I find out how different history actually was compared to how I was taught, and all those textbooks, who wrote them, maybe that matters. Either way, I really do want to point out how it's like, it seems like the whole idea of this cost of living crisis, this whole idea of wealth versus poor, it's kind of been around all the time. It's just now it's like everybody's involved versus just certain classes or certain races or certain different religions. Now it's everybody's involved. It's a whole scale thing.
knew that something like this was going to happen, so they had to distract us in every way possible. And if you keep people exhausted and distracted, they won't organise. If you keep them struggling and divided, they won't resist. The system isn't broken. It's designed this way. It's designed to keep us on our knees and slaves to the system.
You know, I was taught for the majority of my life that the Roman Empire, the Colosseum, was made to distract the people, to entertain them, to have them focus on the entertainment factors versus all the other political drama, economic struggles, and the collapse of society that was happening way back then, way back when. Well, these days we have the Super Bowl, we have TikTok, we have iPhones, we have every single dopamine filler you could possibly get right at your right there to grab onto. So it really seems like the distractions are more than ever, and the focus on actually solving the problem that everybody's facing is not even a conversation.
Just in an open prison. That's all that we live in. And
An open prison.
yeah.
Yo, what do you do for a living?
Huh?
What do you do for a living?
Oh, thank you.
No,
Thank you.
what do you do for a living?
No.
What?
That question. A question you'll be asked in America at pretty much every single introduction, meeting, or first time you meet anybody. What do you do for a living? That whole concept, that sentence, just seems kind of bizarre if you really put a spectacle on it. What do you do for a living? Well, I survive. I do what I can do to make it, to get by. And the judgment that gets put upon you, however way you answer that question, is fully determined on how you answer that question. Which really shows how crazy the way we look at each other is. It's like, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Well, I live any way possible. I survive. We're all trying to survive. But the job you do, how you benefit society, how you provide your energy, your resources, your oomph to society, that's really what's get judged. It's not really about the money, but how much you get paid is really where the judgment comes from. Kind of ironic, isn't it? You could be a EMT but make about 30,000 a year. Well, you will get applauded and respected. But if you are a sales analyst who makes $100,000 a month, you'll have much more respect than somebody who's saving lives for pennies on your dollar. Crazy world we live in.
I hope everybody loses everything this year. Genuinely. I hope you all do. Just so you can learn that hard lesson that it's not real. Money.
Unfortunately, many folks, including myself, pretty much already lost everything they have, or they've given it up to get in return whichever they can to continue surviving. Now, I've sold all my stuff time and time again. Probably 3 different occasions have I sold all my stuff and completely jumped ship and moved locations. Not easy, not really the first ideal situation you want to be in, but I really do think it is really healthy in a way for people to understand how all their belongings, all this stuff, even the money that we chase after, we're so gung ho about, was really just all a idea. It's really just all a construct. It's really not that important at the end of the day.
Not real. Money's not fucking real. It's all fucking imaginary. The idea that so many Americans right now, you're fighting to hold on to something. You're struggling to maintain it at the same level. It's an addiction and they water down the money, but you still trying to...
It's an addiction and they're watering down the money. That's an insane way to put it. And if you know anything about drugs as a whole, that's how dealers do, is they'll water the product down, to be able to make it go farther and get more money out of the product. Now, the money itself is the product that keeps us individuals, us peasants, thriving in the society, or trying to thrive in society, trying to get that sack, get that bag, those doubloons of gold, which is now just printed out pieces of paper that really have no value. And we're going to touch on that a little bit later in this video about how the paper really has really less value than ever before.
At the same high. My mom is in her 60s, and the fact that she remembers going to a corner store fondly and buying candy with a nickel. You can't buy candy with a nickel.
Sorry, my cat is... Why do you gotta ruin the tripod? Go over there. Sorry, folks.
Anywhere in America now. Americans have put so much weight on their money and materialistic lifestyles. We see people in a full-blown panic because they're losing money or because they don't have enough money to pay their bills. And you're being toxic when you're shitting all over a homeless person because I don't have that fucking stress, okay? I just got to worry about keeping gas in my car and keeping my...
That does seem pretty ironic, doesn't it? How the homeless people seem to be the less stressed people out of anybody. The people who have a packed schedule, meetings, multiple jobs, they are the most stressed. They also seem to have the most bills out of anybody because the more you work, the more you end up spending. It's lifestyle inflation. You increase your lifestyle with how much money you make. Very common, very typical thing. Well, the homeless people, all they care about is getting food in their bellies, maybe a little bit of entertainment, and anything you can really do to enjoy the day.
A phone on every fucking month. I'm not stressing about losing nothing. I feel great. America, you're the ones that are losing shit this year, not me. I'm gonna be gaining it, okay? The pendulum.
It's hard to lose what you don't have. If you don't really have anything, you really have nothing to lose.
Swinging back for me. It's going that way for you.
Mortgages aren't real. What do you mean I owe Chase Bank $390,000 to live in wood? It's wood! To live in a tree, it's a tree! And I pay them with cash, which is also a tree. It's all paper. The paint is also a tree. You live in a tree.
It kind of insane to look at that way, where it's like we're sitting in a house made of wood. We're buying it with pieces of paper from trees, and pretty much everything you can actually think of in terms of how you actually support yourself is through trees. It's like the life source, the life energy of the world is plants.
And then we went, oh, why is everybody stressed out? Because you owe $500,000 to live in a tree. It's wood. Lumber. Right. Nobody agrees. Everybody thinks I'm weird for saying this. Mortgages aren't real. People be like, whoa, this piece of tree is by the ocean, so I need to pay $1 million for it. That's not sense. It's not real. And everybody thinks I'm crazy. No. We can...
Now, I do kind of understand the idea of having the houses, the places to live, cost a little bit more. They charge a little bit more if you are in a high populated city, if you have access to many different things like foods, like a big open choices of like restaurants, if you're near like a big busy city with many different like things that actually help you in your business. Now those places, I see why those are a little more pricey, but New York, LA pricey, I don't know what we're doing there.
Free ourselves from the shackles of this, but we gotta stop. We just, it's wood. It's just wood, guys.
Grocery store food is not the same food I was buying 5 and 10 years ago. I'm going to tell you why.
They're watering down the money, they're watering down the food. Nothing we have is as real as it once was.
Literally just found a loaf of bread that I didn't realize was under some papers on my dining room table. This stuff was outdated 3 weeks ago. There was no mold on it. I've got apples still sitting in my crisper of my refrigerator that have been there for 3 months. Don't criticize me. It's just, I'm a single guy. This is how I live. Food is...
There's no criticism, dude. Honestly, you having any food in your cupboards or any food, if you're able to just have food lie around you, just forget about it, that's a luxury these days. Many people, they can't even allow food to expire because it's already fully eaten and you're trying to pay for the next loaf before it's gone. Making your bread loaf stretch is a luxury these days.
It's not the same. It doesn't go bad. It doesn't rot. When I take stuff out of my garden, I have days, literal days. Tomatoes nowadays, you can have them suckers for 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes even more. What is it that we're eating? Are you guys noticing that food is not right? Are you guys noticing that things just don't go bad? Literally.
I mean, have you guys ever seen those videos of them having a McDonald's Big Mac or a cheeseburger or a McChicken sit there in a box for like a year or 6 months? Now, I have a feeling most of those videos are faked and staged and they just replace them because if you've ever been around food, it does get moldy, it does get bad, and it does expire. Now, a few days, few weeks, I can definitely see the, artificial ingredients, the pesticides we're spraying on our stuff to make it grow faster, look brighter, better colors, and maybe taste a little better, and definitely change the life expectancy of that specific product. But luckily, RFK is going to solve all that for us, folks. At least that's what we keep hearing. And then we ended up seeing him on the plane with Trump eating McDonald's. I don't know. People go back and forth. Either way, I would love to hear all your guys' thoughts and opinions regarding the current rising cost of living crisis, the economic struggle that many people are facing, and the crazy, strange time we're going through in terms of groceries. It seems that many people have many different opinions on this, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. So feel free to let me know all of those. I do want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters, my channel memberships, everybody who rocks the content, and I do appreciate you guys who show so much support. You guys really keep this channel thriving, if you could call it that. Either way, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.